Okay, I was putting the radiator and stuff in the car, and you forget about those little things, and I was like, something's not quite seems to be holding this. And I got these from, I don't know, Parts Place. Some car, I don't know. There's, but whatever, they'll fit, but they just don't fit as tight as the originals. And I'm like, well, I can see what holds the top in. I'm not sure what holds the bottom. So I went digging around and I found one of these. Oops. And it goes on and then, butts up, holds that. Rusty as hell, so I sandblasted it and only had one. So I was looking for something that would make another one. This obviously, I think this probably holds a front bushing or something. But I was like, well, that looks kind of close. So I made this one. And thing is, it looks better than that one, the original. And it's close enough. Thing, it had the neat little bends on the side. So I just cut this off. You can see right where I did it. Cut this off. Kept all this, cut it here, and then just did a 90 bend in it. And it's damn near the same thing. So, hell, rather than wait a week to order one or even find one, if nobody makes it, I'll just put that on. Oh well, then I'll just start that off on the next video. I got my my oil thing fixed. Got a new one in, got it painted, got it put on, fired the motor right up, and no leaks. And then I started putting, this is a cold case, and started to paint it black, but with that, I kind of like the look of that, so I'm gonna put that in there. I just had to find some way to hold these a little better, and I'm probably going to get rid of this aftermarket. I mean, it's wide enough, but I'll just shave one out. It just doesn't, it doesn't sit in this little thing very well. So anyway, that's that. I've literally spent 6 hours out here today making little pieces and looking for stuff. There'll be more to this. I'll put another video in behind. Bye. Hello again. Say hi, my little rescue shop buddy. Yeah, he's a dandy. So, get you caught up here. It's just been a couple days. Got these things made for the radiator. Used the original ones because I had a stack of them, and I just cut them out a little more, grooved them because the radiator's wider, and they fit better than the crap I got from Parts Place or Summit or anything. They held it nice and good. Got the shroud in, fans, all the stuff's in. Oil in this thing, no leaks from that. I'm getting ready to put the inners on, but still no issues. I had a starter wire hooked up here and had this running and warm it up. It didn't dawn on me right away because I'm like, Jesus, how much antifreeze does this thing take? Apparently 5 gallons, 20 quarts. Yeah, surprised me. So, because I kept filling it, then I was like, shit, I better check the oil better check the dipstick. So no leaks out of this anymore. That got fixed. I'm gonna put the inners on. That way I can get this all done up here, and with this done, motor's complete. Just gotta hook up some wires to there. And once I've got the inners on, I can mount washer, antifreeze. What I'd like to do is get all of this buttoned up here. I can hook the wiring up for the lights, and then I can make sure everything in the dash, the key, make sure all of that works while I've still got easy access. And it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I've done and bled the brakes. And just to show you, there's not a freaking one drip anywhere. I ran this motor for probably 20 minutes off and on yesterday. There is not a drip anywhere. We'll wait and see, because up until now, it's just been driving me nuts with little things. So that's it. I'm gonna get that mounted. And when I started this, maybe you guys will comment. It sounded, when I started this motor, now we ran it up at Bad Man Racing Shop, dynoed it. And of course, it's got headers right there. So it sounds awesome, you know, rumpity rump. And you really couldn't hear anything with the motor. Sounded great. I fired it up once I got the mufflers and everything on. So now it's quiet, and I could hear, it sounded, with the motor running, it's hard to, it sounded like air, like an air pump. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I listen to hear, and I'm listening, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what? I have no idea. So when I was over on this side, I thought, well, I got to check and see if it's any valve train noise. So there's a hole here. I pulled this tape back, and it pressurized. It went sucking air in. Oh, well, it's a good tight engine then. I got no vacuum leaks because it was literally trying to suck air through the PVC system, you know, but there was no place for air to get in. So that was that. And I thought, oh, cool, that made a difference. And then I can hear this. It's not quite a lifter tick. If I said it was anything, it would, in my head, it's not like that, you get with a lifter tick on hydraulic lifters. It sounded more like a fuel rod knocking, and I've never had solid lifters, so I just never had a solid lifter motor. And this has roller cam, roller tip rockers, and I've never had a roller cam. So initially it didn't sound good. And I was like, what the hell? So let it come up to temperature, do everything, start up the next time. And once it's warm, it was a lot better. So I did a little research, just looking, and I found a bunch of guys talking about, the crane, roller cams, blah, blah, blah. So the way this motor was put together, it's, if I remember what he told me, he says, you put it together and set it at 3/1000 clearance lash and run it. And that came from, I was trying to think, the big Pontiac guy, Butler. He calls because they know each other. He calls Butler, and that's like, hey, that's what we're doing. Nobody's using hydraulic cams because they're all wiping out. Lifters are shit. So we went with that. And like I said, this thing made 400 horsepower. So healthy motor. Really sounds good if you can get some noise in it. But that just bugged me. And obviously now it's once it warms up, it goes away. And I see everything says you just live with it. Other guys are saying, go ahead and pull the valve covers. And instead of just setting them all at 3,000, go ahead and do each one individually. They'll say like do it while it's running, you know, the whole, get a valve cover that's got the top cut off of it, and they just set them. But for the most part, they're like, just live with the noise. And I'm like, we'll see. I'll decide what to do in that. But it's nothing I've got to do now. We'll let it run for a little bit more. And once you back, you know, from standing from here in the front, you can't hear it at all. You really got to be listening for it, which is what we do when we start new motors. So that car brand, great. I can reach down, hit the key, and it fires right up. You don't even have to give it gas. It just fires right up. So that's nice. This was just my power to the HEI. And again, I'm just putting some video up here, because when you're building one of these, if you didn't take pictures, at least you can see, I got this back as much as original as I could, and you can see where things hooked up and the way things go. But that's it. I'll get this mounted. I'll get front stuff, the horns, because I've already got all that painted. And then we're getting really close. I'll start buffing. I've got the pieces in the paint room, the doors, the fenders. Probably start on that little trunk filler first, and that way I can get the trunk mounted, get all the lock stuff in there and button that up. It's just going to be, at this point, a little bit of wiring, and then I'm back to a lot of cleanup and a lot of buffing, and we'll get back on it. So that's what I've gotten accomplished. See you next time. Part of the same from earlier. Got inner fenders in, and obviously the big screws go in there. This mounts to here, and it has the two little holes for the shield that goes on there. You can go ahead and screw these down because they've got big holes that fit over that. So that's done. Does seem like a little bit more of a gap there, but everything's the way it's supposed to be. There's the rubber, and then there's a rubber on top that isolates. The only reason I point that out is when I put the new overflow in, I thought it was sitting high. See how it's right there and kind of takes a little kink? But I went back and looked at my old pictures, and the problem is this should be pointing here instead of into that. So I guess it fits cold case, but this is off. I thought about putting a elbow in there, and I still might because that's threaded. I just didn't have one, and I'd like to find a chrome one. so I could turn that a little more. I mean, it's probably going to be fine. It's not pinched off or anything, but it also came, when I ordered this one, it came with that little bolt in here. I had to drill that one through. The original that I have looks exactly the same, but it don't have that. It only uses this top bracket. But you can see where that mounts there, and then space around. I don't know. Anyway, same thing on this side. 2 there. There's nothing to drop down here. And we should then be getting just a little bit closer. I knew I had these, the originals. That's why it took me an hour to get this stuff in, and actually, if you look real close, this is an original hose. So I had some of those, cleaned them up. I mean, they may be 40, 50 years old, but they were actually still good. So if I can find a chrome one of these, I may do that. If not, I'll leave it. But that's why it took a little while to do that stuff. All right, that's all I can think of for now. Oh, I did get this mounted. Here was another problem. This is the way this stuff mounts. And you can see that in it. This is that arm. It's supposed to go through these 3 holes up here and be adjustable. But as you can tell, it's too long. And it was the same thing on another car I did. These are too long this way. Because you can see that battery's in there. It's all the way up against the edge right down here. Has to be, because that's where the bolts come through, and they got clearance. But I'd put one of these in before, and even though it was nice rubber coated and all that new crap, I cut it, and I think I may have cut it here, shortened it, and could have done the same thing on here, but it was all freaking new coating, and I wanted to keep it. So I just went and drilled another hole. Kind of hard to see, but there's where they should be. I just drilled another one and put it through there. And it's just close enough if I do that. It ain't going nowhere. So, that's all I got done. All right. Probably going to, wow, man, I'll start on some wiring tomorrow then. Later.